Hey guys, well, if you look behind me, you'll see that our um, raised beds that we built a few years ago made of wood landscaping ties has totally disintegrated. They were infested with ants and all sorts of other bugs. I mean, at one point we had a major red ant infestation in there. So today Farmer John is disassembling it, and we are about to build some new land guard galvanized beds that are going to be in a different orientation. We're going to do a full assembly for you, but before we build that, I just wanted to go over the condition of this bed with you. So in case you're considering building wood raised beds, or you're really just on the fence about what type of material you want to build these beds out of, I'm going to give you an idea what you can expect in a few years. In most zones, you can expect this to happen with wood. It just depends on your humidity and dampness. It may happen sooner or it may happen later. For us, we got at least 10 years out of these beds, so we're really not complaining. Plus, we have about 4 yards of soil in here that we're able to use in other places. But let me turn you around and give you a look at the condition of these beds. Yeah, so every year I was having problems with something coming up and eating all of my little seedlings, and you can see that the wood inside of here is totally disintegrated. And again, you can expect it. It's been holding moisture. There's some kind of, Farmer John, I'll have you have a look, see if you can have a look and see. There's some kind of colony of something under there, these little white, I don't know if they're spiders or what, but we'll get a closer look and see.
We did have red ants living in
We
there.
had red ants, yeah, I was mentioning that. So anyway, this bed here was slightly taller. I mean, this bed here, this was before we were doing hugel culture. You can see how many ties this was. This came up to my hips, and it was wonderful because we were able to plant carrots deep in here for a few years.
And you could sit on it.
And what's that?
You could sit on it.
Yeah, you could. It was perfect waist-high gardening. But the problem is my neighbor's beautiful spruce tree somehow found its way over here and decided to send all of its roots up into the bed, and it's causing us a whole other level of problems. So that's just one of the reasons why we've decided to move these beds. So what we're going to do today is, once Farmer John clears out this area, we are repurposing this soil, as I had said, into another project that we're working on. We're going to get the beds laid out in a different orientation over here, and we're going to be getting a whole truckload of new, fresh compost and soil to fill them up with, and we're going to bring you every step of the way. But for now, I want to have you look at the condition of everything. Again, this was an expensive project. It was a lot of wood to haul. It took a whole lot of soil if you're not doing hugel culture. Yeah, you can see how it just falls apart. But now the galvanized beds that we're about to use should hold up much better.
30 years.
Now, as Farmer John preps the area over there for the new land guard beds, I wanted to give you a look at our existing land guard beds, which we've had in place for well over 2 years now. I absolutely love them. A few of them are showing a dulled patina, which is just fine with me. It's it's like a charcoal color, but none of them are rusting. We're not having any problems with them. So the value of what you get, that, they're supposed to last, I think he said, for 30 years. This was so much easier. It comes to your door in a box, and now these beds that we're building next are much bigger than these. These are only, I think, 2 feet by 4 feet. We're building 4 feet by 8 feet long, and there's 2 of them, and all those parts come in one box. But again, Amazon delivered it right to our door for us. It was heavy, so Farmer John had to pick it up and carry it to the back, but everything you need is going to be in there. So again, we're going with the style of the rounded edges, which I really like, because you'll see as we connect it again for you, we'll do a very detailed assembly. There's no square edges for soil to fall out. So these contain everything nicely. And while these are not as high as the waist-high gardening beds are, which are really, really wonderful, they just take so much soil to fill, and we were not really going to go for that right now. And these beds, we're going to use them for tomatoes, and we're going to put a cattle panel in there and so on. But let me just turn you around and you can have a closer look at these beds so you can see over 2 years and no rust. Yeah, so look at these guys. There's no rust on the screws. They stayed completely in place. They hold all of the soil. I really just cannot complain about these beds. I'm not having any problems at all. And I mean, a few of them even still have some shine on them, which really, again, doesn't matter to me. But yeah, so you can see that they hold up really, really well. Okay guys, so right now we are in our garage and it's a high fashion day of beauty and wonderful hair, as you can see, as always. Farmer John has brought the raised beds in here that need to be assembled into the garage because we are being blessed with pouring rain over the last few weeks. So now coming Friday, we have 5 cubic yards of soil coming, so we have to get these beds started one way or another, and the back area still needs to be leveled, graded, and prepped for these beds. So we thought, let's go ahead and get these set up in sections until we can take them out into the backyard garden and get them fully assembled. At least this will save us some time. We'll have, done something while it's raining out. So I'm going to show you the box. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. Farmer John is going to proceed with assembly of these. He's going to talk to you about what parts he's using. And some of this will be in time lapse because not everyone wants to see every single screw being screwed in. But then there are other folks out there who just really enjoy a fully satisfying video of every screw and every thread and every single part. But these beds are really not that complicated. It's a matter of going through your inventory, locating your instructions and making sure you have all of your parts, and then you screw them together. This is very, very, very simple. So I'm going to turn you around and show you the box that this came in, and we'll get started. There he is.
Hey guys.
It's him. He's going to stop everything he's doing and he's going to work on this problem. So anyway, you guys, this is Farmer John. This is Farmer John. Farmer John's going to assemble 2 8x4 foot beds. So can you even believe, this is my hand for reference, that 2 8x4 foot beds are in this box. And what's wonderful is it's delivered by Amazon. These beds are manufactured from Landguard, which we already have in place, and I already explained that to you. And this is heavy because it has so many panels in it for 2 beds. However, it's much easier to receive and have come to you than a bunch of railroad ties or cinder blocks or whatever else you may want to try to build your beds out of. So you can see the instructions are right on top. We're going to open it up and get everything started. Very nicely packed by Landguard. So we have the instructions are right on top. And you can see that they tell you how many pieces of each part you'll have. These beds do contain a stabilizer bar in the middle, which our other ones do not because of the size. And then it's just very clear instructions of putting screws in place until you have a completed bed. Bags of all of your nuts and screws and washers are here. And I'm happy that they do emphasize here that this does have sharp edges and that you should use caution. This was the one thing that we noticed when we were working with them before. But once it's installed and in place, it's not really a problem. It's not for us anyway. So, all right, now we're going to take out the galvanized pieces, which you can see. Farmer John, will you lift that section out there? All of the straight sides come fully wrapped with plastic around the edges, stacked up neatly into a section. And then the end pieces are curved because, as I explained, we did the oval shaped beds. So these are the ends, and these just get connected together. So it's all very, very simple. Here are the stabilizer bars, so it looks like we have everything in place. So now what we're going to do is, as I explained to you, as Farmer John starts to take everything apart, we're going to show you just basically what the screws look like, how they go in place, and then Farmer John will be going into time lapse and fast forward. But where there's critical attachment areas where we think you need to see it, he will slow down. We're going to slow down because we did have a comment from one viewer on another video. They were very upset that the entire video was in fast forward and they needed more help with details because there were problems with lining sections up. We don't anticipate there's going to be any problems with this, but we will slow it down into a combo of real time and fast forward. So let's get started.
All right, guys, so just a quick thing here. We have our instructions. We have all of the parts here that we are going to need. You can see per bed, we need 4 of the P1s. The P1s are the straight pieces here. If you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you need 6 of the side pieces, P3, and that is right here. You can see that. So P1, P3, and P2 is going to be the inside stabilizers. We have those, so we're good to go. And you just want to get a good inventory, make sure that you find everything. We do have our parts with our screws and everything in there, and this is a 2-bed kit, so we're going to make sure that we have double what we need, okay? So just opened up everything here. You'll see, I'm just going to stand up here. Each one of these represents 3. So that's 3, 3, 3, and 3. So we have enough for 2 beds, right? So if you look back at our instructions here, so P3, that's the rounded side. We need 6 for 1 bed. So we do absolutely have enough. And then same thing with the side pieces, the P1s. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there you are. You have all the pieces that you need to make a bed, and they give you these big old bags of screws and stuff. So I think we're going to be good. I'm going to go ahead, get started building, and we will take it from there. And oh, by the way, you do have stabilizer bars in this one. In the smaller beds, I want to say they were 4 by 2 by 1 foot. Or, yeah, that's right, 4 by 2 by 1 foot. They did not have stabilizer bars. So just a little bit of a difference with the bigger beds. At this point, I'm putting together P1, so the middle pieces here. If you look right there, P1 to P1. And those instructions, they really want you to follow this. So if you look, F2, which is the, if you look here, it's a small nut, if you will. They want you to put that small nut at the top, okay? And they want you to put F3, which is for the stabilizer bars, okay? They want you to put the stabilizer bars, the second one down, then followed by another nut, and then F3 down at the bottom again for the stabilizer bar. So your stabilizer bar, if you look here, I already did it. It's real simple. I just hand tightened it. I didn't do anything super fancy here. I'm just following the instructions. So down at the bottom, right? Then your regular nut here, and then the stabilizer bar here, and then again, regular nut right up at the top. So I will continue to do this. I'll do this for the 4 sides, and we'll take it from there. So hey guys, if you look here, I got all of my P1 pieces all matched up here. Everything is all put in just as they requested. We put these parts on here, every other one. You look, you see that there is a nut here. This is just hand tightened. I will go back and tighten them up. I do have a ratcheting screwdriver with a 3/8 inch ratchet attachment. So if you look there, that's nice and tight. That's what you want. So that way when you're ratcheting it, it's gonna be perfectly fine. And I do have my regular screwdriver, Phillips head. That way I can get in there and get this done. We do have over there the P3 pieces, which are going to take all screws. So none of the fancy crossbars or anything like that for this. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get them set up. There's 3 per each one. So we'll get that done, and we'll show you some more time lapse. Hey guys, just making sure I have the right tool for the right job. If you look here, I have a wrench as well as my other 2 screwdrivers, my ratcheting screwdriver and everything else. If you look there, to get that rounded end, just like that, you know, you don't want to like hurt your fingers or anything. So make sure you just have a wrench with you. It really does help to make the process go quicker.
So we've just moved locations to the outside. If you look here, I have my tools and I have my screws, and I have them set up on a piece of cardboard just so that way I'm not fighting with, hey, did I drop a screw in the rocks? I'm going to keep this cardboard close by while I'm working. So if I do drop a screw, I won't lose it. So, yep, pretty simple. We're going to continue building out here nice enough so that way we can get it done, and it's closer to being in place out here than it is inside the garage. With no rain, I expect this to go pretty quickly. Just wanted to show you what I was doing here. So if you look, I actually have the curved piece on the outside at the ends. So if you look there, that's what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm doing the same thing with the straight pieces here. So where I have the straight pieces, I have the straight piece coming in, the curve going to the outside. Okay, I think that will get a little bit more strength. If you also look at the instructions here, it's almost like they're trying to tell you to do that, and without actually telling you to do that. If you look at how they have these P3 pieces, they're kind of going to the outside. They're showing these outermost pieces going to the outside, and these pieces here going to the outside. So I'm going to do that. These are just hand tightened right now. So if you look there, nothing special here. Working to get the bed done. So that's what we're going to continue to focus on. I'm going to put the other side on. You can see that other side has not been connected yet. So as I'm getting this together, I did notice, due to the size, I think the 8 feet, it's just a little bit more flexible, if you will, and not to your benefit. So what I did here with this last, as you can see here, I could go down the line of all the different nuts and screws that I put in. They're all in, but what I needed to do was I needed to tighten this end up, and I realized that it was so flexible that it was kind of moving from side to side. So what I did to help with that is I just put the top nut and screw in and the bottom nut and screw, and then the holes perfectly line up. So if you're having trouble with that as you're assembling it, make sure to do that. And by the way, guys, these corners are super sharp, so please wear your gloves. And I know these are old gloves, but they are protecting my hand, so your hands are important. Make sure you're protected. We are actually installing the stabilizer bar. If you look there, hopefully it's not overblown from all the sun now that we're getting after all that rain, goodness gracious. Anyway, so I am connecting P2 with F3, and you can see that there. So P2 are the long bars, these guys here. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. So long bars with F3, which are the connectors. The connectors we already put in place earlier when we were building. So now we're just going to connect it. And what I found success with is to get one side in, kind of like this. Make sure not to cross thread it. Okay, so put that one side in. Make sure not to cross thread it. Get it nice and tight. I mean, you could use a little machine oil if you wanted to just to get it in. It's not necessary though. They fit pretty well together. I'm not going to sit here and screw this whole thing in for you. But then what I do is I'll go back, put this side in. Okay, so I'll put the second one over here, you can see, and start screwing that one in. And then I just tighten one side up. And what I do is I do it to the point where you can't really see the thread on it. Once you do that, you're good. And then just measure it up, make sure it's 4 feet, because that's what the bed size is, right? If you look here, 8 by 4 by 1, just make sure you're at 4 feet. So an alternative to doing it the way that I was mentioning earlier is just to put it totally in. So you put the side piece on, put the middle piece on, your second bar in, and then put this last bar in, and then just screw it in. I found that I did get stuck on one of the bars. It got cross-threaded, and by doing that, it made it so simple, and now I'm able to put it on. So just build the bar totally, make sure it's not cross-threaded like what I just did, and then just screw it in at the end there, and you're good to go. All right, guys, so here it is, the finished product. We have 2 land guard raised beds, 8 by 4 by 1. And if you look here, hopefully you'll be able to see it. The space is leveled, and my dirty level is level. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you put these in that they are nice and level, and that way you have a nice space for growing. I think these are going to serve their purpose without rotting, which is the biggest thing, right? We actually had the problem where we had rot in our other beds, and that's the reason why we're doing this. So we have ample space there. Okay, we removed the back bed that was back there, removed this bed here, and we have plenty of space between to get through. That's about 27 inches. So I think that we're good. And of course, no project is done without the boss's last say so. So I'll get her out here to take a look and make sure that we're good. If we are, then we are good to roll.
So there are, guys. You can see from watching Farmer John that assembling the Landguard galvanized raised beds is not really very difficult. It's just time consuming with all of the screws and tightening everything up, and it goes much quicker if you have two people. The most important thing about setting something like this up, and I'm certain that you heard Farmer John saying here, is that you're working with a level space. It's absolutely important. You really don't want to have, even if you're just doing one single bed, you want the soil underneath of it to be nice and level. Now you can see that we did two side by side because we will be putting a cattle panel between the two, because this is going to be a new bed for new varieties of tomatoes for us this year. So here are some pros and cons that I want to discuss with you before I let you go. Now, based on seeing the condition of the landscape timbers that we had built our beds with before, you can see the level of rot they had. I don't think these galvanized beds are going to rot out anytime soon. We've had our other collection in place for going on 3 years, and there's not even a spot of rust on any of them. The worst thing that happens is this beautiful high polish shine wears down to a dull patina, but that's about it. They've held their soil very, very well. There's no weak edges on these because it has the rounded ends, which I highly recommend. If you're going to get an elongated bed like this, that you get the oval shape with the nice rounded corners instead of the square with the sharp corners. You're never going to use that sharp corner space. It poses a scratching hazard, and it does leave gaps where the soil can leak out. This model gives you full soil containment. It's so much easier having something like this delivered to your door in one small box. Now, as I said, two beds in a box like this can be a little heavy and cumbersome. But once they're installed, they're very, very simple to move. They're almost weightless. They're just awkward in size, which is why we moved them together. Now, the thing that I really want to call to your attention here is if you are anyone watching this with any physical limitations, maybe your back, maybe your age, maybe you, who knows what you have going on in your life that could make this difficult. Even though it's easy to have it delivered to your door, and it's easy to put together because you just have to put in some screws and you tighten it up, probably the worst part of this job is going to be filling it with soil. Now, these two beds we estimate are going to take approximately 3 cubic yards of soil, which we have an entire truckload coming. Keeping in mind that 1 cubic yard of soil covers a 10 by 10 by 3 inch high space. So because we're working with two 8 by 4 beds, we figure around 3 cubic yards, maybe possibly a little bit more, but we'll see how it goes. So you'll want to be prepared to get soil. These 12-inch beds aren't really designed for hugelkultur or packing with other inert types of materials at the bottom. If you're going to plant something like tomatoes, tomatoes like to be planted nice and deep, and they want really good, rich soil under them. So we're going to be filling these with good soil. However, if you're going to be, filling them, let's say you want it just for tulips or annual bulbs or something, and that's all that you're going to put in there, you're going to want to have a specific kind of soil for that also. So I want you to just take that into consideration before you get these. Now, again, you'll want to look at your area that you'll be building them in, and making sure that it's nice and level. If it's not nice and level, you need to get it level before you start. And getting the area cleared and leveled was about the thing that took the longest, because we're working on a swale back here. So John really had a lot of cleaning up, removing the old beds, which leaves the question that I'm certain someone's going to ask. How long does it actually take to put these things together? If you're just simply assembly, I'm going to say set a couple hours aside for yourself. Say 3 hours. It shouldn't take that long. But without any interruptions, having all of your tools ready, having a nice level place to work, it shouldn't take that long. You should be able to whiz right through it. So I hope you found this helpful, and I hope it helped you decide whether or not you want to do a galvanized raised bed like this model from Landguard versus wood or cinder block. And as you can see through our garden behind me, we have so many options, things that we salvaged, you know, and we decided after having the wood beds that they were just not the way to go over time. So anyway, you guys, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Lee, and of course you just spent a bunch of time with Farmer John. Our backyard garden is located in northwestern Burlington County, New Jersey. We are Zone 7A, and this year it has been a very, very rainy spring, which is why it took us the course of 2 or 3 days to actually get this area ready and this project completed. So anyway, you guys, if you want to see us fill this up and you want to see what kind of tomatoes we're going to plant in here, you'll need to watch us in the next video. So thanks for watching, you guys. I hope this helped. Any comments or questions, please post them below. We get back to everybody. Thanks again, guys. See you in the next video.